いし制服は着替えたロケットの搭乗員あやがち夢中でもたちも悪くはないみたいだし目にした自由でなんか自分探し怖いこんにちはこんにちは怖いこんにちはこんにちは怖いこんにちは
Alright, let's be real for a second. We've all seen the usual lineup of overpowered anime heroes. Saitama, Rimuru, Mob, 𝐴NS, and so on. All legends, no denying that. But today, we're not talking about the mainstream ones. I wanted to dig a little deeper. The kind of shows that fly under most people's radar, where the main guy looks like a total nobody, super average, maybe even pathetic, but secretly has powers that can rewrite reality if they felt like it. This list is all about underrated gems. Anime where the protagonist doesn't look like they belong in a fight, but when stuff goes down, they remind everyone who's actually running the show. So yeah. No hype talk, just good coffee and gamer sups and good anime. Let's start. At number 10, the Asen newbie adventurer trained to death by the most powerful party became invincible. Rick Gladiator isn't who you'd expect as a shonen lead. He's an average, kind of plain, middle-aged dude, totally new to adventuring, which in this world is something you're supposed to start at like 16. So he just gets written off by adventurers half his age and guild staff alike. The thing is, Rick isn't average at all. He spent his whole life unknowingly training with legends, top-ranked warriors and mages who hammered him into an absolute unit. He doesn't assume he's strong. He's polite, kind of unassuming, and honestly avoids trouble. But when someone or some monster actually pushes him, he cuts through dragons, shatters golems, and tanks lethal blows like it's nothing. And nobody can figure out how this rookie old guy is just casually breaking the high score on quests. If you're craving a twist on the classic hidden power trope, this laid-back, quietly epic adventure is gold.
Nice work today, Nor. And thanks to you, we'll have no problem sticking to the schedule this month.
Yeah, glad to hear it.
At number 9, I parry everything. What do you mean I'm the strongest? I'm not even an adventurer yet. Nor is, by all appearances, a background character. Literally someone who spends his whole life parrying stuff, not even attacking. Early on, everyone either ignores him or assumes he's more of a liability than a fighter. After all, who wins a fantasy deathmatch just by blocking? But that's Nor's whole deal. He can parry anything, not just blades, a literal dragon's breath, magical fireballs, and whatever nonsense the world throws at him. He doesn't get how busted his power is, which makes it even funnier when he shrugs off world-ending attacks in front of seasoned heroes. He's never cocky. He doesn't care about glory. He just, you know, parries. Until everyone realizes he's statistically impossible to kill. It's a fun ride, low stress, and a must for power fantasy fans who like subtle, unflashy protagonists who still break the rules. At number 8, Villainous Level 99. I may be the hidden boss, but I'm not the Demon Lord. You want low profile? 𝐴NS might be the most invisible lead in the whole genre. She reincarnates into an autumn game world as a hidden boss, the kind of character you only see if you break all the rules. She's gloomy, withdrawn, skipped over by everyone, and walks around with this constant awkward aura. Problem is, she's level 99 the minute the story starts. A stat no one else will hit in their lifetime. 𝐴NS just wants to live quietly, avoid drama, and enjoy a normal school life. But sometimes her hidden monster stats leak out, like that time she single-handedly destroys a demon that's supposed to be the big bad for the whole country, and then tries to cover it up like nothing happened. It's all about her struggling to fit in, keep her power a secret, and dodge people who think she's a threat to the whole world. If you're tired of pushy OP MCs, her deadpan, accidental wrecking ball approach is a breath of fresh air.
The Demon Queen Echidna and the 4 great generals.
At number 7, I'm quitting heroing. Leo Demon Heart is literally too strong for his own good. After saving the world, yes, actually saving it, he gets labeled a menace and kicked out of human society because he's just that powerful. Instead of losing hope or going full villain, Leo figures, what the hell, and applies for a job in the Demon Queen's army. Cue workplace comedy with a flip. Everyone thinks he's a weirdo human at first, but when demon generals get threatened, Leo drops the act and solos dragons, fixes military strategy, and more. Under his soft-spoken, unremarkable exterior is a walking war crime, but Leo acts more like a chill co-worker than a world-ending boss. This show layers the overpowered trope with real adult themes: burnout, not belonging, and trying to find where someone with too much power is even allowed to exist. Kind of hits you in the feels, honestly.
I'm good.
At number 6, I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world, too. Talk about a guy everyone overlooks. Yuya Tenju has the classic bullied kid routine down. He's not just weak, he's invisible. Neighbors pity him, classmates ignore or pick on him, and his family outright tells him he's worthless. That all flips the day he finds a portal to another world in his rundown home. Suddenly, he's got access to monsters, dungeons, and the kind of loot you only get in games if you know tons of cheat codes. Only, this anime takes it up a notch. Everything that makes him OP in the fantasy world comes back home to normal Japan. Super strength? Check immovable defense? Yup. Suddenly drop dead gorgeous? You bet, though he still thinks he's the same weakling. His struggles aren't just monsters, it's suddenly being respected for the first time in his life, and worrying that any minute the world will find out about his supernatural side. There's actual heart here as Yuya navigates who he wants to be now that nobody can knock him down again.
Congratulations! My affection has increased.
Why do I feel like you're teasing me? It's not fair. I'm getting embarrassed about something I don't even remember doing.
At number 5, Black Summoner. Kelvin at first glance is just an average guy with a soft smile and chill personality, but the guy starts this new world adventure by trading all his memories for raw summoner potential, and he goes from who to unbeatable in record time. This isn't the show where the MC yells his power level or tries to play the hero. Instead, Kelvin just gets increasingly OP by making contracts with the scariest bosses, spirits, and even demon lords, literally forming a team with people he should have lost to ages ago. The real kicker? He loves fighting strong enemies so much, he practically fangirls over big boss battles, treating world-ending monsters as collectibles instead of threats. So while townsfolk write him off as a harmless foreigner, he's out there accidentally breaking the system at every turn. It's unassuming, sometimes goofy, but genuinely great at showing how the normal guy really has nobody above him in the new world food chain.
But next time, I'll change that. I'll start over. One more round. Only I won't fail this time.
At number 4, the reincarnation of the strongest exorcist in another world. This one goes a little further with the quiet genius angle. Seika Lamprogue, the MC, is reborn after death as the strongest on Myoji, Exorcist. But instead of showing off flashy attacks, he uses subtle spell work, shikigami, spiritual familiars, and exorcism techniques. On the outside, Seika blends right into his magic academy. He looks studious and reserved and isn't as loud or show-offy as his classmates. But he's basically a walking spiritual apocalypse. Most monsters and even teachers don't see him coming before he shuts them down in a few quick moves. There's not a single flex in his body, but he's constantly solving crises others would call hopeless, using more wisdom and strategy than brute force. If you like quiet confidence and tactical low-key supernatural dominance, you're gonna love this one. At number 3, my instant death ability is so overpowered, no one in this other world stands a chance. Yogiri Takatu is probably the most low-maintenance apocalypse ever created. He's absolutely generic, high schooler with a blank stare, wants to rest, and is absolutely unremarkable until you realize his one power. If he wills it, anything, literally anything in front of him just ceases to exist. He gets isekai'd with his class, left for dead, and everyone just forgets about him. Fine by him. He doesn't even care to fight unless he has to. The details are dark. Bosses, monsters, deadly enemies, gone with a sigh or a wish. He's so overpowered he might as well be a walking delete button, but it's played for laughs. He never brags. If anything, he wishes people would stop bugging him. If you want the fun of an MC who looks lost but actually runs the world, this is for you.
いやー、ずいぶん重くて疲れましたよ。何なんですかこれ。
親父が骨董品を集めるのが趣味で。
At number 2, C cubed, Cube X Cursed X Curious. Haruaki Yachi is probably the chillest guy on this list, living alone at a young age, looking after himself, and just generally blending into the background. His world gets flipped when a cursed cube arrives, and transforms into a girl named Fear, dragging Haruaki into nasty supernatural conflicts. He doesn't seem special, no fancy powers, no secret past, but you quickly learn he's immune to curses, making him the only truly safe harbor in a world full of deadly haunted artifacts. He doesn't act tough, doesn't pick fights, but his steady calm keeps the whole cast together, even when things get wild. It's a cool mix of school slice of life, horror, and action that's all built on the idea that the most harmless looking guy is ultimately the ultimate defense against supernatural disaster.
Retaliation was all I could use this for.
At number 1, Charlotte. Let's finish with the one I think gets overlooked way too often. Yu Otosaka is another average high schooler, except his shifty attitude and habit of borrowing abilities from others for personal gain make him come off as even more unimpressive. He starts out using his mild supernatural trick to cheat on tests and mess around, hardly world-ending stuff. Then comes the twist. His true power isn't just borrowing, it's stealing permanently. By the end, Yu is walking around with the world's most broken collection of powers, but he's constantly trying to keep himself together, emotionally and physically. He's not heartless or showy, just terrified by his own potential and desperate to hold on to his humanity. There's a ton of depth here about power and loneliness, making his weak-looking outer shell all the more tragic and legendary. But that's the list. 10 titles where the lead looks fragile, but the universe bends if they feel like it. If you're tired of the big name OP anime, these are the real hidden treasures. Drop what you'd add, or which one you discovered in the comments. Alright, time to binge some animes myself. Catch you next time.